Hey guys, it's Chris. From the fastest creature on Earth to some of the strongest, here are 10 of the greatest African predators. Number 10. Nile Crocodile. The Nile crocodile is a freshwater species that can be found throughout Africa, including virtually every river on the continent and in many of its lakes. It is Africa's largest freshwater predator, and they can get really big. While the saltwater crocodile is the world's largest reptile, the Nile crocodile isn't far behind, at around 5 meters long or around 16 feet, and weighing up to 2,400 pounds. That's 1,090 kilograms. These massive reptiles are naturally very aggressive and do not hesitate to attack. These ruthless hunters kill their prey by dragging them underwater, which isn't hard for them to do. In case you haven't noticed, crocodiles have razor-sharp teeth that sink deeply into flesh, and they're also equipped with an incredibly strong set of jaws that are nearly impossible to open. They're capable of clamping down their terrifying chompers for extended periods of time, plenty long enough to drown prey and roll around with it. In addition to being incredibly large and strong, these reptiles are also extremely fast. Even swift prey often can't escape once a crocodile has set its sights on the target. Humans are just as susceptible to being attacked as any other creature. Nile crocodiles kill about 1,000 people annually. And FYI, crocodiles are 100 times deadlier than sharks. Number 9. Cheetah. In Africa, you'll find many big cat species that will no doubt fill you with dread should you see them. But if you're careful, you'll be able to avoid most of them in a chase, unless you're up against a cheetah. Because as you may have learned in school, the cheetah is the fastest land animal in the world, though there is always some debate on this particular subject. On average, the cheetah is able to accelerate and maintain speeds of 40 miles per hour, which means that this cat is as fast as a car driving through a city. But what's even more impressive is that in small bursts, it can go all the way up to 70 miles an hour, thus making it as fast as a car on a highway. The stats alone make it a dangerous predator, but given that these speeds can be obtained and maintained for various bursts of time, that all but ensures that its prey can't get away once it locks onto it. A big thing that separates the cheetah from many other big cats is their body shape and composition. When you think about tigers, lions, or even panthers, they have bodies built for strength, whereas the cheetah is built for speed above all else. They have a long frame that is strong but light, and their legs are thin, allowing them to get up to the speeds we mentioned earlier. Their heads are even shaped differently than the others, and their jaws and skulls are much smaller. What's more, cheetahs are one of the few big cats that are open and active during the daytime, and they spend that daytime hunting. While they don't form families like lions do with their prides, cheetahs have been known to form social circles and even make coalitions with other cheetahs, thus making them even more dangerous predators. Number 8. Hippopotamus. It's very easy to think of hippos as lazy creatures, mainly because as long as you don't disturb them, they're actually quite peaceful, as well as very intelligent, as they've saved human lives in the past. But don't mistake a somewhat lazy nature for an inability to defend themselves. There have been many times in the past where a hippo has gone on to do serious damage to people and other animals, and even taken their lives. One hunter was actually trying to get one for his trophy case and didn't notice that one was actually right under his canoe. Before he could do anything, the hippo flipped his boat, got him into the water, and then did what came naturally. Hippos are known to be so unpredictable, they'll actually attack loyal friends. Like one South African man who had a hippo as a pet, and then it just turned on him. There are also several cases of river tours being disrupted by hippos despite not being disturbed in the slightest. What's more, hippos are known to be very territorial, and this makes them dangerous for anyone going into the water. To be clear, it's not just the males that are a threat, but the females as well. If they think that anyone is going to harm their children, they'll rush out and attack, and we do mean rush. For despite their massive frames, hippos are known to reach speeds of over 20 miles per hour. And when you have that much bulk running towards you, well, things are bound to go wrong. The point here is hippos are dangerous, and that should be noted before even thinking of approaching them. And you're not even prey on its menu. Imagine what it would do to get food for its family. And now for number 7, but first make sure you subscribe to World List if you haven't already. Number 7. Leopard. Another big cat that you'll find in Africa, among other places, is the leopard. And it should be noted that leopards are one of the major cat species that is on the verge of being extinct. In Hong Kong, Singapore, Kuwait, Syria, Libya, Tunisia, and most likely in Morocco, leopard populations have already been all but wiped out, or wiped out entirely. And why is this happening? Well, because people are illegally killing them and selling their parts and furs for top dollar on the black market and in other backroom deals. There are still leopards in Africa, but their numbers are indeed dwindling. Poaching, habitat infringement, and more are the major causes for their suffering. One of the things that people can get confused is that a leopard is thought to be a jaguar most of the time. But if you were to compare the two both visually and in how they act, you'll see several differences. For example, the leopard has a smaller, lighter physique, and its rosettes are generally smaller, more densely packed, and without central spots. Leopards are solitary creatures, and they're very territorial in the places that they call their home. In fact, they won't even interact with other leopards unless it's mating season, which goes to show you how they view their privacy and alone time. Like many big cats, leopards prefer to sleep during the day and be active at night, and they're not afraid to travel in order to find some good meals, or even just to get a new place to live. When they do hunt, they're not too picky as to what they eat. Leopards have been recorded being willing to eat at least 100 different types of species of various size and bulks. They'll even go after creatures like primates and giraffes if they think they can take them down. And giraffes can weigh over 1,000 pounds at times. That's much more than the leopard, which proves their efficiency when they hunt. All told, much of Africa is afraid of leopards, especially when said entity is its prey. Number 6. Mosquito. Without a doubt, the mosquito is one of the most annoying insects in the world, and the one that most of us humans would probably just wish would go extinct for various reasons. Due to that annoyance, most of humanity does not realize that the mosquito is the most dangerous insect in the world right now. What's more, in Africa alone, the mosquito is the cause of most deaths in the region. And the reason for this is simple. While it's true that mosquitoes bite humans and drain their blood, they can also infect us with a whole host of diseases, as mosquitoes are perfect carriers for all diseases via their ability to siphon off blood from victims. One such case of this happening was the West Nile virus scare that had the disease pass from bug to bug and then from human to human. To further show how dangerous they are, it's estimated that 700,000 people a year die via the diseases transmitted from mosquitoes, which can range from West Nile virus to malaria, yellow fever, chikungunya, dengue fever, Zika, and more. Just as bad though, the reason that mosquitoes continually find humans to bite is they have very heightened senses, ones that allow them to not only sense the blood of humans, but to be able to perfectly discern what type of blood you have. So when you're bitten by them, it's because you have exactly the blood type they like. So while it may seem that the mosquito is just an annoyance, it's a predator in its own right. And the thing it hunts is vessels with blood. Number 5. Black Mamba. This is the largest venomous snake you can find in Africa, the feared black mamba. To be fair, on average, the black mamba usually reaches about 9 feet, but one was found to have been over 14 feet, which is well over double the size of a human. As if being venomous wasn't enough to make it feared, this snake is the fastest striking snake in the world, as it's able to strike at over 12 miles an hour, and it's one of the most aggressive snakes out there today. So while other snakes out there may have more powerful venom, on the whole, the black mamba is the snake you would not want to meet. Even in its own habitat, it's not threatened by others. The black mamba doesn't have many predators it needs to look out for. If you still don't believe the power of this snake, then know that the venom of the black mamba is so powerful, it can cause a collapse or even death in people in only 30 minutes after biting them. Number 4. Great white shark. Feared all over the world today, the great white shark has the greatest number of attacks on humans with a staggering 314 cases. Of them, 80 were fatal, giving them a fatality rate of 25%. Africa is one of the places that they're most reliably found, especially off the coast of South Africa, where many people do tours to go and see them. To be clear, great white sharks do not openly hunt human beings, else their attack numbers would be much greater. However, they aren't afraid to do so, which is why many try and give them a wide berth. In the shark world, they're the largest of the predatory sharks, sometimes reaching up to 25 feet in length, and their average length is over 20. What's more, great white sharks don't have natural predators, save maybe orcas and technically human beings, but aside from that, they run the oceans unopposed. While their strike numbers are undoubtedly high, pop culture has turned a lot of their abilities into legend without scientific proof. The movie Jaws is the most popular of these to blame for this, as it was filmed as a horror film starring a great white shark named Bruce. Outside of humans, though, there is no doubt that great white sharks are one of the deadliest predators in both Africa and the world at large. They have incredible speed, incredible bite strength, and can even launch themselves into the air in order to grab prey, and then slam them back into the water to stun them. Number 3. Cape buffalo. Also known as the African buffalo, these creatures have a rather unflattering nickname, the Black Death. Not to be confused with the Black Plague for the record. Rather, they're an animal species that are known not only for attacks, but for having fatal attacks, including having an incredibly high fatality rate when attacking other animals. To that end, there are some who believe that it's the Cape buffalo who kills more humans in Africa than any other animal on the continent. The reason for this is simple. They do not like to be disturbed or provoked in any manner. When they feel threatened, even in a slight way, they'll rush in and attack just about anything it deems a threat. This goes double when the Cape buffalo feels its herd is being threatened. The other reason their attacks are so fatal is that they can be over 6 feet tall, weigh over a ton, and have razor-sharp horns that can be gorged into virtually anything if it gets its momentum up. Just in terms of humans, the Cape buffalo is said to kill about 200 every year. Number 2. Lions. The king of the jungle, which ironically never lives in the jungle, is most definitely a creature to be respected as well as feared. Lions are the top of the food chain in just about every area they live in, and they know it. This goes especially for Africa, where they mainly reside. They can be over 8 feet long depending on the species and weigh over 400 pounds, also depending on the species. They also have an imposing figure that makes all creatures very nervous about them. Their figure and strength are so revered by humanity that we've made them into a symbol that has been used all over the world, from symbols for nations to sports teams and more. And in case you didn't realize, you should definitely run when you see a lion. They tend to be very territorial, but just as bad for you, they tend to hunt in groups known as prides. Female lionesses specifically like to do this, so if you see one, it's very likely there are more nearby. What's more, because lions aren't known for stamina, they like to stalk prey and then rush it. So if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, they can get on you before you even realize it. While it is true that many lions have become friends with humans, these are the exceptions, not the rules. In Kenya, some workers found themselves under constant attack from lions, to the extent that while a railroad was being built, 28 people were taken by them. There's a reason that the lion is the top of the food chain. They're fierce creatures, they love to hunt and show dominance, and their numbers allow them to take on threats of all sizes and shapes. So if you are in Africa and you see a lion anywhere in your line of sight, you should tread with caution. Number 1. Humanity. It may seem a bit trite to put humanity as the greatest predator in Africa, but it's a truth that is both hard to swallow and kinda easy to understand. On the surface alone, man's expansion in Africa and the destruction of much wildlife and habitat have led to many species going extinct or be in serious danger of being extinct soon. However, the things that truly earn humans the spot on this list is poaching. To put it simply, poaching is the act of hunting or capturing animals in an illegal fashion, and it's been going on for centuries. At first, it was seen as harmless hunting. Big game hunters would head to Africa to get animals like lions or rhinos or elephants and just put them in trophy cases. But as the time of these hunts went on, and more hunters went to Africa to go and poach these creatures, more and more species took serious population number hits as a result. Many of these species have never recovered from this. Thus, the hunting of these animals was banned outside of a very key set of circumstances. Yet it hasn't stopped poaching from happening. And more than that, some people openly post their victories online for all to see, to show what they got away with. But even poaching pales in comparison to the decimation caused by humanity in regard to the ivory trade. Ivory is a valuable substance that is found on the horns of certain animals, including many animals from Africa like elephants and rhinos. For many decades, hunters and poachers have gone to Africa to hunt, kill, and then rob these animals of their ivory. At times, they won't even kill animals like the rhino. They'll just sedate them so that they can cut off their horns and leave them without one of their biggest features. There have been efforts made to stop the hunt for ivory and the killing of animals in Africa. The process has been slow, and poachers continue to go into areas of Africa to get their kills, and in return, their money. Thanks for watching, everyone. What did you think of these predators that live in Africa? Can you believe the intensity of some of these creatures that live there? Which do you personally think is the most dangerous of the lot? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to World List, and I'll see you next time.